All right, we'd like to welcome everybody to another episode of the Life of the People Show podcast. My name is Ishak here. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. DJ King Majesty. We are in the building. How's everybody doing tonight? How you doing, King Majesty?
Man, I'm feeling absolutely incredible, really excited. We got these heavy hitters in here today. So I just first and foremost want to just say thanks for your time because I know you're very busy doing big things. So, being stopping in here with the Life of the People show, I just appreciate your time.
No doubt, no doubt. Definitely. We're here on March 15th. This year's flying by already. And again, we have two dope guests in the building today. Multi-Grammy Award nominated producer, Mr. Haskel Jackson, and legendary music executive, Mr. BMikeRob is in the building. We are going to holler at them in a little bit during the convo of the day. But first and foremost, we got to get into all of this news that's taking place in the world today because it's a whole lot going on. What's going on, King Majesty?
Man, we got so much. I don't even know where to start. And you know me, I have a silly spirit, so I'm gonna get right into it, and just wonder what you guys feedback on this Plies. Oh no, not Plies. I mean Kirk Franklin. What's going on with Kirk Franklin? He out there putting it down like he had the Denzel, like he Denzel in Training Day. He's going at it. Did you guys hear about that? With him going at it with his son?
Oh yeah, man. I heard that clip, man. I think it's unfortunate. I wasn't surprised. He's a human being, man. You know.
Right.
I don't know if I've ever cussed nobody out like that before. You know,
Yeah, that was kind of deep.
that was kind of deep for me. I'm not surprised because we don't need to be putting nobody on no pedestals, and obviously none of us have a place to judge. But it was some vulgar language. It was serious. It was like it was like two dudes from the streets talking. Right?
About breaking somebody's neck.
Yeah,
breaking it serious.
Killing them.
That's serious.
You can hear the tone in his voice. He was not playing any games. You know? But like Haskell says, we can't be judging these guys, and I won't go too deep into it, but a lot of the churchy religious people, sometimes they're the most harsh judges, sometimes. And so it's like these are people, they're regular people just like you and I. And so I definitely don't judge them. I'm not a parent, but I could just understand where he's coming from. He was frustrated, so
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, I think he was like 5 seconds on how everybody say, don't have me jump through this phone.
Hey, yeah, young Kirk definitely better clean it up before he see his dad. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt. Oh, no doubt.
Keeping it moving to the next one. He's an announcer, Norman High School girls basketball team, and hurled out the N-word because the girls decided to take a knee during the national anthem. And I mean, this is nothing new. We've seen it, we've heard it. And so he's the next guy on but the girls actually have partnered up with Ben Crump, and they're going after this guy.
I'm
in agreement with it.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, especially to be on the air, saying something like that just because of their beliefs or they're doing something for. It was just wild.
And did you hear what his excuse was?
No, I didn't.
This dude said because he got diabetes. He got diabetes and he was having a fit, and that made him say the N-word.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy.
What kind of diabetes?
I mean, you could have said something like because somebody black gave me diabetes or something.
Right. You must got a different diabetes than my mom.
You didn't tell me you went to the doctor diagnosed you with diabetes, and he said there's going to be a time
when you're going to have an outcome.
You mean to tell me your doctor told you that? Okay.
Right.
Exactly.
Come on,
exactly.
Man. We need a diabetes vaccine now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
Some more
crazy.
interesting news that I just stumbled across a couple hours ago, and I don't know, it's kind of messy, but I figured I'd speak on it just because they're household names. Did you guys hear about Tiffany Haddish and Nicki Minaj?
I heard about that. I heard about
I,
that. It was
Yeah.
some.
So
Yeah, I heard
so
about. Go
it
ahead.
was on Clubhouse, the Clubhouse app, and they had Tiffany Haddish on record saying someone was comparing her to Nicki, and she said, "quote Unlike Nicki, I treat people with respect and dignity." And so there's
you
some
already
issues
know
there,
they going in.
right? I
I
don't know what
did.
that's about, but
Well, she gonna be in Nicki's next song.
Yeah. She was even talking about
uh,
being on time too, like the shows and stuff, like respecting people's time. Was they talking about that as well?
I think they were, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way Tiffany comes across. Her personality, she seems so real. I really I like her.
Yeah.
I don't dislike Nicki Minaj, but I don't just get that authentic feel personally. It seems like so kind of like
You,
just
you,
made
you feel
up.
like she's the bougie? She kind of bougie?
I was watching. What was I watching last night? The movie with Muhammad and Malcolm X and Sam Cooke, and he said, "You bourgeois Negroes."
Oh yeah.
That was just so funny to me. We got some bourgeois Negroes out here.
but man, you know what I'm looking
Another.
forward to, right? Go ahead,
Go
Max.
ahead. What you say?
Now I'm about to say, I'm looking forward to the Oscars. I'm really
Right.
looking forward to it, namely because the homegirl, Andra
She
Day,
did.
is up for an Oscar. She won the Golden Globe. Now she's up for the Oscar. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with that. That's gonna be dope.
Man, being from San Diego, it's just you can feel it. You can just feel the electricity when she got that Golden Globe. I mean, San Diego, we taking all wins because with the Padres and Chargers, you gotta have thick skin out here. Even though it's the most beautiful place to be, we need some victories out here. So we are just overjoyed with
You
Miss
gonna take
Andra
whatever
Day.
you can get, huh?
Hey,
Exactly.
we taking them. When we just get a no
Exactly.
hitter or anything, we run it like that's a championship.
No doubt. No doubt. But I think she has a good
Um,
chance of getting it though, because that movie's off the chain.
the movie's
That movie is
phenomenal.
off the chain, man. She did a
Did you see her
spectacular job.
her interview with Oprah?
I didn't. I missed that.
It was awesome, man. Again, she's just so real. She's so real, and you can just see she was embodied. She just really embodied it. You know how you go on a journey. Yeah, you guys definitely will understand this. Just going on your journey and all the work and the effort that you're putting into something, and then years later, when doors of opportunity they say open for those who continually knock. So she had been preparing for this role before she knew she was preparing for this role, and
Wow.
so it kind of felt like it was a spiritual thing. You definitely you might want to go back and watch that interview because it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Your life's experiences do that for you sometimes. That's a
Right.
And
definite.
they say you can, and I mean, in actuality, people say when they say that you speak things into existence, it's a mentality. It's a mentality that you have within yourself that you really, if you want something that bad, you'll go out and you'll get it. And then once it happens, you'll be like, I spoke this into existence. But at the same time, what it is that you gave yourself the confidence, courage to do something that you knew that you could do, but you felt that you couldn't.
Man, I got
Exactly.
chills when you said that because we are literally a testament of that right now. Because
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna say interview, this whole conversation is that because this came from a thought that led to some action, and that thought was not long ago, and here we are with you guys. And
Yeah,
so
well, at the end of the
yeah,
day, that's what it's all about. It's getting everybody to share the same vision. And once you
right,
share that vision, and we sometimes people don't really may not share your vision, but you got to understand that that's your vision, so they may not see it right then and there. But you
right.
got to always have. That's why you got to have that open mind. So this is a blessing for not only for you guys, but for me as well, because of the fact that it's always good to connect with people that have the same passion in life, you know. and don't think a check has to be attached to everything.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think also, man, like, you know, the older you get, you start realizing that the control you think you have really don't. I mean, God has ways to create your pathway, and you'll end up learning things that you're gonna need years down the line, and you don't realize why you're learning it or why you ended up in a situation. And and when everything works out, and you trust God for everything, although at times it's hard because you want immediate answers,
Right.
but when you control, he'll end up bringing you into a perfect situation, like you said, Andre Day, and everything just works out smoothly. So that's an amazing testimony, and hopefully it will reach the young people that are anxious to make that next move.
That's the 99 no.
Be diligent and all.
Yeah.
You know,
99 no's that you'll get before you get that 100th yes. And those 99 no's prepared you for this 100th yes.
That's real.
Man,
Exactly.
I'm loving this conversation. You guys speaking my language. That's what I'm all about right there. The yes is inside the no. You just have to shift your perspective.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, sir. So what about the Grammys? Let's shift into the Grammys. We just had the Grammys last night. Hats off, crowns off to the Queen, Beyonce. 28 Grammys.
That's crazy.
Bro.
Got 28 Grammys.
28. She's now the leader in Grammys.
Wait. She got 28 Grammys last night.
No. Total. Over her career.
Total.
Overall.
I'm like, what?
She won every category last night.
The only one I've seen that many was Michael Jackson and Drake was holding it.
Right. So how many did she win last night?
I want to say, was it two or three last night?
Two.
The
It
two?
was one with Megan Stallion, right?
Yeah, she got one with Meg,
Right.
and then she got one for the project that she did for Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And even
get this, her daughter Blue Ivy got her first Grammy.
Yeah, from being a part of that with her mother, right?
Exactly.
Man, if set up for life was a person.
Exactly. if you can bottle it and sell it.
Right?
Exactly. It's crazy, but
I just can't wait to see, what happens with her as she grows. Because to me, she looks exactly like both of them to me.
Yeah.
Yep. She does. This is gonna be crazy because like you said, it's just your father is who he is. He's at the height of however high you can get in his space.
Right.
Beyonce is at the height of her space. You can't help but be successful at whatever it is you choose to do in life. She may not even want to be in music. She may just be in business.
But you also got to look at it like this. It seems like it's a higher percentage of the kids that are related to superstars. It's a higher percentage that they fail.
True. Very true. Because for one,
all the pressure that they have to be part, such as Michael Jordan's kids.
True.
Right.
You know what I mean? They went all the way to college basketball, but couldn't really get it to the point like that you're like your father,
Very true.
Jackson's kids. I work with Michael Jackson's kids. I work with the Jacksons for years. You know what I mean? And it's like even like dealing with them, they even like 3T, which is all Tito's sons.
Uh-huh.
That it's tough for them to get over the hump. But overseas they're big,
That's tough.
I remember growing up with my good friend Darius, Marcus Allen's little brother, and we have some family connection. He's actually my niece's uncle or something like that, cousin, whatever. And I remember when we were kids, and he told me we went to junior high together. And he's like, "Don't tell anyone." He didn't want anyone to know who he was, because of all that pressure that comes with it, and just wanting to know if people are genuine. Do they like me for me, or So I remember that.
That's like Denzel's son. No one knew that was Denzel's son that plays on the HBO show The Game.
Right.
No one knew that was his son for years.
Very true.
Because of the pressure that he now that he got his own status, then he came out and said, Denzel Washington is my father.
Right. Guys like O'Shea Jackson Jr. He can't hide it. He looked like a carbon copy, boy.
That's my daddy. That's my
right.
I didn't even know Diana Ross's. I didn't know Diana Ross's daughter was old girl from Set It Off.
I tripped off of that.
Which one? Which one?
The one that got killed first. What's her name?
The one that died. Yeah.
That's Diana Ross's daughter.
Kimberly Elise.
Daughter.
Kimberly Elise.
Wow, I did not know that.
I had no idea. I don't know if they hid it or if it was just news that just.
No, it was they had a gag contract.
They did what?
It was a gag contract. You know in Hollywood.
Oh, wow.
Water? Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you definitely can't. Not because you don't want to ruin their career when they're younger.
Right.
That's like
even her son. Even her son. I didn't know that was her son.
Yeah.
Who's her son?
Good actor too.
Her son is the light skinned one that he's played in a lot of movies now.
Yeah, he had a TV
the one that
show.
was on. What was that show?
He played in ATL.
Oh yeah, he was in.
He played in ATL. He played T.I.'s little brother in ATL.
He definitely was in ATL. Yeah.
Yep.
And he was also on that show with Queen Latifah that was on with the three female singers. What was their name? Star. Was that what the name was?
Oh, yeah. It was Star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait. I thought Sissy Science. You know what? Not Diana Ross. My bad. Cicely Tyson's daughter.
There you go. I just found that out.
Hold on.
My wife just told me.
Hold on. Which one?
Oh.
Wow, you serious?
The one that played in Tyler Perry's. That's why she looks so much like her.
Yes.
Tyler Perry's. What was that? When she got kicked out. What is that movie? He kicked her out.
I know what you're talking about.
She's been in all kinds of stuff.
Mad Black Woman, or something like that.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Because they played his daughter and mother in that. I was like, he looked just like Cicely Tyson.
Wow, I did not know that.
I said to myself, I said, dang, they casted her very well.
Right?
Well, that's crazy.
I did not know that.
Until she passed, I didn't know that. And when you look at her, the
just
old
like
pictures
her.
of Cicely, oh man, they look just alike.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And she got a legendary mom. Like Cicely Tyson being your mom?
Right.
Now that's pressure. But again, they hid that because of the fact that they wanted to make sure that they got their proper, respect in Hollywood.
Yep. I will say this though about Denzel's son. I think he's a great actor, but I have to say that last movie he did, Tenet. I couldn't. It was too much going on. It was way too much going on. It was hard to follow. It was hard to follow. Yeah. But he's a good actor though, because he did a good job in that one movie. Where was that movie he did where he played the undercover FBI agent? Remember, he infiltrated the KKK. It came out like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Wow.
It was a good movie, but he did a great job in that. But it was he's good though. He's a great actor, no doubt.
Yeah.
Wow.
No doubt.
Knock out these last couple news articles. Definitely want to send a rest in peace to Marvelous Marvin Hagler and also Reggie Warren from Troop, so definitely just want to send our condolences to their families.
Reggie Warren from Troop died?
Yeah. They died the same day, I believe.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Wow, and Troopers from the Bay Area?
Say it again.
Yeah.
Is it Pasadena?
Oh yeah,
really?
Because some of them live in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know he died.
Yeah. What did they say happened to him? I think with Marvin.
He was only 52, I think, wasn't he?
Complications from the COVID vaccine.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, with Marvin Hagler. That's what Tommy Hearns posted.
Man, I'll never forget that legendary fight with him and Sugar Ray.
Who you think won that fight?
You know what? I honestly think I don't. You know what? I can't really say. It was just because I was talking to Richard Steele. I talked to him a lot. He's the famous referee.
Yeah.
And when I spoke with him, he was saying that he felt Hagler, then he felt Sugar Ray. He just really because once you're a ref and you're in the ring, it's like okay he's winning or okay he's winning, but Yeah, all I know is both of them, they started getting commercials after that.
It was a win-win.
One had them, what is it, the Old Spice.
Wow.
Civilized.
Right. Well, definitely just want to send condolences and good energy to their families. I'll go over this one real quick. Drew Brees has retired. Tom Brady signed a 4-year extension, so he's gonna play until he's 72.
That's right.
We definitely want to send a shout out to Breonna Taylor. It was the 1-year anniversary of her passing. And with that, the last news article that I have, our former officer Derek Chauvin, his trial is starting, and from George Floyd, and the George Floyd family was just awarded $27 million. So I'm just like, for you to give me $27 million, you basically are telling me that they were wrong.
He did it.
Right.
There's no remorse.
Yeah, and what's crazy, and what's crazy about that too is his attorneys are now trying to get the trial delayed just because they received that $27 million. And it's just, I don't know what, I understand everybody, we have due process. I get that 100%. But at the same token, all you gotta do is watch that video. You know what I'm saying? All you have to do is watch the video.
Come on, man. 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Come on. It's like
the dude had his hands in his pocket.
And looking around, and when people talking to him, even the other officer talks to him, he's like shaking his head, like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
He deserves whatever he gets, and I'm hoping they throw the book at him. I really do. We
need some examples, because for me, I'm like, if it was the other way around and it was Floyd, and shoot, it's a wrap, especially if they're giving up $27 million.
If it was the other way around, and it was you swap it, and if it's another man's knee on another man's neck, and it was on TV, everybody on that block that had something to say would have been lit up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, even with the Breonna Taylor one, her boyfriend was released or let go, or he wasn't responsible for doing what he did as well. So that's a win-win too.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's just I'm hoping we can get. I'm hoping we can get far away from that type of stuff as soon as possible, and people are held accountable. That's at the end of the day. That's all we want. Be held accountable. If you do wrong, be held accountable. Because
them not being held accountable is the reason why it keeps happening over and over.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to.
You turn the blind eye to it.
Yeah. And you can't, and that's the one thing, that's the biggest thing that we have an issue with, I think, as a community, is just that. You know what I'm saying? We are harassed constantly in our own communities for doing nothing more often than not. And yet they can come in here and just think they see something or feel threatened, and they have the option to shoot us down. And then at that point not be held accountable for it. And
but then they'll tell us that we do it to ourselves anyway. So why?
Exactly.
The wildest
my whole thing is
the fact that we can get it on camera. We're sitting here watching it, and you still are not held accountable. We got the video.
Right. My whole thing is this: if you, as a cop, if you are that scary to where you'll have to pull out, you feel threatened enough just because somebody looks a certain way, you shouldn't be a cop. It's just that simple. If you feel that threatened and you're that scary, you shouldn't be a cop. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not saying being a cop is easy by any stretch. That's probably one of the most dangerous jobs you can do, just because there's some idiots out there. But at the same token,
that's stressful.
Yeah, it's just
I think this thing's about to be crazy like OJ, man, because the fact that they had some interactions prior to that happening. Floyd and that cop had some so they say, had some interactions before that. So that's this thing is going to be a circus.
Yeah, it is. But I'm just going to be curious to see if they actually show it live as well. How they did, how they did OJ. You couldn't watch anything for about a month and a half
right.
when the trial was going on. But with that though, we're gonna go ahead and move into the convo today, because again, we have two dope guests on the show, and we want to introduce you to the people and get the people to know you guys. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, we want to start off from the very beginning, because both of you guys have had spectacular careers. Careers are still going strong. There's no end in sight. You know what I'm saying? Only getting better by the day. You know what I'm saying? I see MikeRob doing there's nothing you're not doing. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
see you having the clothing line. I see you managing people. I see you doing artist development. I see you having a radio show. Haskel over here, Grammy nominated. You have the program where you guys are bringing the kids in and teaching them about the industry. It's just you have kids now. I think it was you put out there the other day where you have, I think, one of your clients. She just got cast in is it a not a what do you call it, a biography? Is it about the Obamas or something like that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
One of the Obamas. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man.
Black Girls Rock. That whole thing, man, is that season. So if you a young black girl, female, woman, elderly, like you are in line step with being legendary. Like people, the world is looking at you. Kids are looking up to you, and the industry definitely has opened their arms and the doors to you. Just the fact that you are just that you're black, you're African American, you're a queen, you're a princess. Like it's your time, and I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's like, because even with Tyler Perry, even with what he has going on, you know, it has opened the gates. Like it's like floodgates. And it goes back to knowing somebody and know somebody to be somebody, because it'll help you out as long as you're just not gonna you'll have to earn it. You'll definitely have to earn it, but it won't be as hard as like it used to be.
Yes.
Exactly, because you have folks like that, like Tyler Perry on his side, what he's done. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say I've been a huge over the years, but just from a business perspective, what he's accomplished is phenomenal. To literally go from sleeping in your vehicle to being a billionaire and on top of your game in an industry that was not built for us.
For you.
You know what I'm saying? At all.
At all.
And
I
he's
mean,
just, it's crazy.
Again, he had a vision. People shared it. He kept going, and that's the whole thing. I mean, and Haskel will tell you the same thing, and you guys have the same mentality. But I've learned that consistency is everything.
Yeah.
If you can't stay consistent with what you love to do, then it's really not going to work. If you're in this for money, money is not going to. The more you chase the money, the faster the money is going to get, and the more tired you're going to get of chasing it.
Right.
And with that said, Mike, I'm glad you said.
Go
ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna say basically what you saying that there. If you can, let's go back to the beginning for you. How did you get into the entertainment industry, and then from there, what has pushed you along that way?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the short, long version. So, playing arena football, I played arena football for a while, and I went to UNLV. Me, Suge Knight, Randall Cunningham, we all went to college together. But at the same time, I was always a DJ, and loved music. I loved the fact about DJing. I love the fact that how it brought people together, and you can control how people feel when it comes to the music side. That never left me, but I got into we're brought up to always keep a job. So you may not get what you want, but you got to keep something going. So I again in college I took fire science. After graduating from college, ended up being one of the first African Americans to have a C16 license in the Bay Area, which is fire protection.
Okay.
And so I was making a lot of money doing fire protection, installing fire sprinklers, and having crews and stuff like that. Wasn't still my passion, but it was something after I hurt myself playing arena football that I had that to fall back on. So I built I had a warehouse where all my fire protection stuff was. Got a couple people together. I said I want to build a stage. Built a stage. Started having open mics, stuff like that. And from there, I built a green room in the same warehouse. Then I built a CD duplicator area in the same area. And in the front of that, I owned a Nextel store. So,
wow.
And when Nextel was really big. And then from there, I opened up a call center. You guys remember the calling cards that people could call overseas? I had it. That was when we started doing it was called VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol. Haskel don't even know these stories. But,
I know the No, the next.
So what we did is I became partners with I don't know if you guys ever heard of a place called Vonage.
Yeah.
And it was voice over internet protocol so I became partners with them through Nextel. From Nextel, I came out with the slogan because I was like, man, our people don't get a chance to really get Nextel because it's business to business, and that was B2B. So you had to have a business in order to get Nextel phones, in order for everybody to be chirped up together. So I went into Nextel and we came out with a campaign. They said, okay, we'll allow you to run that campaign. And it was called, you guys started seeing the slogan, where you at? That was my slogan that I came out with. It was called Where You At? And from there, you guys started seeing boost, and everybody started being able to get the phones from Kmart, from Walmart, Targets, and you can chirp them up with a phone card. So
that's amazing.
That's the era I came from, but I still wasn't happy. You know, it was just something that I always got myself around people that, you know, it's kind of like you hang with enough millionaires, you learn how to become a millionaire. You know what I mean? So it was like I was never really about the money. So they were like, man, you're doing so much stuff and you got to get paid for that and you got to get paid for that. And that never was my drive. So once I started building all that stuff in the warehouse, I just got out of the fire protection and the phone area. And then I just said, you know what? I want to just do an open mic. I started doing an open mic, and it became a company called UGMX, Unity Gathers Many Experiences. Once we did that, all the kids, all the Bay Area, from E40 to Too Short to Big Ridge, San Quinn, all the big artists from the Bay Area, Mr. Fab, all those artists started coming to my facility, and that's when I started working with the kids, and we became that one-stop shop. And after I started putting groups together and developing, you guys know the artist. Her name was Gabby Wilson when I was developing her, and she goes by the name of Her. She got 2 Grammys last night, I think it was, too.
Wow.
I did Mike Duro and all them. That's Tyga. Did Tyga. Did New Boy, Audio Push, Teaching Me How to Jerk. You know, we did all that. So it was like all these groups were coming out of my facility. So BET, I took a group out to BET and we performed on Wild Out Wednesdays. And once they performed on Wild Out Wednesdays, they won. And it was like the East Coast and the West Coast, you guys know the time difference. So when they were voting, when BET 106 in Park came on, when people would watch it and they would vote it was on 3 hours before out in New York. And then when it came on out here in the West Coast, your votes didn't count because the show was already over because it was 3 hour difference.
Right. I remember
that. I did a lot of school tours, and I went to the schools and I said, let's do this. If I let my group come perform for you guys and your assemblies, will you guys allow your classes to vote at 3:00? So that was like right when they were getting out of school. So we had like over 100,000 votes within 5 minutes when they opened up the voting thing in BET. So they were like, who did this on the West Coast? Because all these votes were coming. And then that's when I came into play. And then they said, hey, we want you to run the West Coast for BET. At 106 in Park on Wednesdays. So I started getting all kind of groups on there and helping them get so that they had those visuals coming from the West Coast now.
I see why you're so big on vision now, because you have to have vision to put all that together.
Yeah, so that's what it was, and this wasn't like a plan. It's just something that I was doing on the fluke. That when I see something, then I'm like, oh, I can enhance that, or how can I enhance that? You know,
Right.
And from there we started developing artists, and the popularity came. And the main thing is that I've never stopped that vision of helping another kid to conquer what he wants to do in life. You know, I'm a strong believer that God is the trunk and the roots, and we are the branches that hang low enough for the kids to pick the fruits.
Nice.
You know, that's my vision. That's how it's always been, and God has put me with people to succeed, to help others succeed, which is the same thing. Like especially when it came to Haskel. You know what I mean? When we met, we were in a facility together. And I had a studio here, there, and he had a studio there. We just became friends by working and seeing each other. And before you know it, it's like we help another youth out.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean that's pretty much how it is. And then, and I do about 280 schools a year by taking kids out to perform and getting the exposure. And, and it's always been a blessing because of the fact that even though a lot of people don't know sometimes, I don't have the gas money, but at the same time, God has always made a way. He's always made a way. And that's why no matter what, I've never second guessed him of anything when it comes to paying a bill or doing something that I love to do. So it's always been I've always pretty much been blessed in that sense. Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. And this is what I do, man. And the brand BMikeRob you see is because everybody know if you say Big Mike and you Google it, 150,000 of us coming up. But if you Google BMikeRob, I'm the only one coming up.
BMikeRob. So Haskel,
that's why I did that with the brand.
I'm interested in Haskel. Before you just became this big, colossal, Grammy-nominated producer and everything, what got you started? Where did the journey start for you?
Well, first off, I want to give a shout out. Just mad love to Big Mike, man. You don't find people like him. You just don't. I've been in this industry over 27 years, and you don't find such a person that's always honest and have integrity. And when you work with kids, I think you have a special type of heart. So I just want to say, it's an honor to have known Mike and worked with him. Always.
I'm still here though, Haskel.
You know what I mean?
Still here.
I know.
You act like I'm done. What's going on?
You know what? Tomorrow,
I don't know?
Tomorrow's not promised to nobody, dog. Nobody. So you gotta give people your roses while they're alive.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah, man. I'm born and raised LA. I was that kid that was on the bus stop getting jacked for his Gucci belt on the way home from football practice in South Central. So having a side of my family that was very much in the streets, from gang banging to even had some murders in the family. And then on the other side, like I was the one that played sports, and I stayed in Pop Warner football and went to LA schools, Martin Luther King Elementary, Manhattan, Horseman, then graduated from Crenshaw High, and then went from there to CISA, Cal State Northridge. And that's where I started music. I started music in the dorm, singing around the dorm with some roommates. We used to sing Boys to Men, Temptation stuff, just harmonies. Just a lot of harmonies. And it stuck. So me and some of my boys started a group called Straight Vocals. And man, one of my cats is on the line right now. He's on with us, Sean Dancy. But yeah, so we started a group called Straight Vocals. Long story short, we won a couple talent shows at CSUN. We ended up one of our really good friends named We Tuck. His uncle was Gerald Busby, and Gerald Busby was a legend over at Motown. He was an executive at the time. So he took us over there to just have a meeting. We sang for him in his office, like one of the movie type things. He loved us. Frank Wilson came in. Frank Wilson was a legendary writer over at Motown. He loved us. He signed us to a compilation album deal where we ended up, all the songs and artists that we were singing in the dorm, we ended up doing an album with Boys to Men, Temptation, Nicki Robinson.
Wow.
Like, what we were talking about earlier, like sometimes you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, and you end up places with people that you've always looked up to or appreciated their sound. And we ended up doing this album called Motown Comes Home, and it got nominated for a Grammy Award for Album of the Year. And so I'm like this young, wet behind the ears, little artist trying to sing, and I'm around greatness. So we end up traveling and doing a lot of music on the road. The album did really well. And I was around some amazing musicians at the time, like top of their game, like people that was MDing for Michael Jackson and Bobby Brown and New Edition, like just some really major musicians. So I was able to learn from all of the huge people that were in the industry. And me being young, that's kind of how I got some of my breaks. And so one guy in particular, major shout out to him, DOA out of Sacramento, Derek Allen, dope producer, man. He just plays every instrument. Like, the boy is ridiculous. Brought me under his wing, taught me a lot about the music business, taught me how to carry myself and really how to take business serious, not just be a creative head, but be a businessman. Right. And so, so from there, he started bringing me into some of his sessions, and happened to bring one of my big sessions. He brought me into to do some writing for with Smokey Norfolk. So I go out to Sacramento. I'm in there writing and doing my thing, and Smokey Norfolk comes in. Nobody knew who he was. He was just a church boy playing piano. End up doing "I Need You Now," one of the biggest songs, gospel songs that triple platinum. Like, so I'm on that album, singing, writing, and then from there it was just like things just started building, and I stayed focused. I kind of stayed in my grind and stayed real serious about what I was doing, and then I get a call from Kanye West camp, and people knew that I was producing and doing a lot of, really cool things, and they needed somebody to run the Kanye West Foundation. And interesting, man, when they called, I was not interested. They were like, "Yeah, you'll be working with kids," and I was like, "I don't want to work with no kids. I'm producing." Like, I was like, "I don't want to," And that was my mentality. It was like, it was ego at the time. It was no ego to it. So the lady called me back and she said, I knew her pretty good. She said, "Haskel, you should consider this. Like, it could be a great opportunity for you, and it could teach a lot." I was like, "Nah, I don't want to work with no kids, man. I'm producing. I'm in there mixing." She hung up. She called back and she said, "Haskel, God said this is for you." And I was like, "Oh, man."
How you say to that?
Really know God only? So I prayed about it. And there you have it, man. I said, okay. I went into a meeting. They were at a huge kind of round table. Sat down with them, told them what I did. They loved it. They called me the next day. They said, "Can you do a presentation in front of like 16 kids, middle school kids?" I was like, "Ooh, all right." So I broke down my little studio, had an MPC machine, my 2 speakers, my little controller, and went up there to the school. They introduced me. The kids was looking at me crazy, like, "Who is this guy?" And I was just like, what is going on? So I started plugging my speakers in, plugging my MIDI stuff, my MPC, everything in. I made a beat in like 5 minutes. It was just like in my zone. And then I pushed stop, and dude, the kids erupted. They jumped up out of their seats and ran up to me, almost my equipment over. And they were like, "We want to be in your class." I was like, wow. Like, it just blew me away. And a lady in the back of the room said, come here, young man." I went back there. She said, "You don't know who I am?" I was like, "Nah." She said, "I'm Donda West, Kanye's mom." I was like, "What?" Okay, right. I had no idea. She said, "What you did was amazing. That's what we're looking for." And it was on from there, bro. She asked me, what would it take to bring me on the team and teach them what I knew, from a technical to a creative to a engineer type of standpoint. For 6 years, I jumped in and I just started using all of the stuff that I knew to teach these children. And it became such a passion and a love. And right when she started it, she died. So it was almost like she gave me the torch.
Wow.
And it hit me because I didn't really know what I was doing. I led with my passion. And I from lesson plans, I never went to school for it. Everything I know has just been learning, just picking up a book or opening or just trying it out. So it wasn't because I went to the best schools. It was just because my passion led me to the educational side of it, and I was able to teach it. So Zoom to where I am now is an entertainment company that umbrellas Genso Productions, which is music production, Pie Stations, which is my in-school curriculum, music for your mental, that's music therapy. I'm like Mike, like we got a ton of businesses. It just don't stop. You know what I mean? But you gotta be ready. So what, Mike? So you don't have to get
ready, so you ain't gotta get ready.
Yeah. So
man, that's a captivating.
That's that attitude that we have to live by every day, man. So
every day.
The one thing that I've always
tell them though, Haskel has something that he came up with. I don't care what anybody say. I'll never forget it. It's called edutainment.
Edutainment. Wow. Yeah, man.
Just educating and entertainment all in one.
Yes.
That's dope.
All in one, man. I mean, we got to do it. When we leave, there should be a legacy of education and teaching people. Like Mike and I try to really do things together so we can show people the camaraderie, the respect, and that you can work with people and trust in the industry. And that's what we do. We just, that's what we do, man.
Man, it doesn't take long to see why you guys are blessed, man, because just having that heart right there of serving, man, I'm captivated. I feel like a fan right now. I'm like, I need some popcorn.
Me and Haskel will always tell you, there's no I, it's French with us. It's we.
It's we, Doc. Yeah, man. It's enough for everybody.
Exactly. Because I've always found in life, man, when you lead with passion, you lead with your heart, regardless of what it is you're doing, you can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? You can never go wrong.
You can't.
And like Mike said a little while ago, if you're chasing the money, you're going to be forever chasing the money. You know what I'm saying? But when you are leading with your heart and you're doing something from within, that's the best fulfilling thing that you can ever have and possess, because it's for one, from at least my standpoint, it's almost like an unquenchable thirst, because again, once you get that taste of it, like you said, Haskel, when you first did that and those kids erupted like that, that's a high you can never get from anything else.
You get it. It's spectacular. It's funny is that it's like it's a rush, because when you see a kid, if you're telling them something and it seems like things are not getting through to them, but you continue to kind of knock on that door and you see the light go off in them.
Yeah.
They get it. Oh my God, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, Mike? They get it.
And that feeling is, you can never get that feeling back. It's like, wow, I finally, it's kind of like you're digging a hole and you're looking for gold. And when you're digging so deep that you start questioning yourself.
Yeah.
Like, am I ever going to get to it? And then you say, you know what, I'm going to just do one more time. And you do it and you get it. You're like, wow, if I would have gave up, somebody would have came in and just, got one shovel and been rich.
That's real.
That's crazy.
Have you ever, you just made me think with that statement. Have you ever heard a song where you felt like that was your song?
Yeah, that's how music is, though. Music is like a time machine. It'll always take you back into where you were, and that's why music is so powerful.
Yeah.
That they use music I mean, come on, when Marvin Gaye, when James Brown, you know what I mean, when the riots and stuff, that calmed everybody down.
Yeah, that's real. That's
music is a language within itself. You know what I'm saying? It's a language. And it has no barriers. Music can change your mood. If you're feeling down, you can listen to some music, it'll bring you up. You know what I'm saying? If you're feeling up, it could take you higher. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's a language. And to me, at least from my standpoint, music has always been a part of me. Haskel, dude, I mean, just the first conversation he and I had way back when, I think this is probably back in like 02, 03, was solely about just music and what he was doing, what he had going on, what I was looking to do, etc. And it was just, music is it's a language, that everybody speaks it, in some form or fashion or another. Everybody to some extent loves music, whatever genre of music it may be, they love music, and it's universal, and it just goes across everything. And what I think was Bob Marley said at one time way back when, that he felt that music could heal the world. And I think if anything can, it's music, to be totally real about it. Not to be cliche or kind of be corny about it, but I think music really could, because that's one thing that brings everybody together.
You're right, and it can be the thing that can take make people break up too, because
Mm-hmm.
music is words, right? So you got words that feed your spirit. So I always telling these young kids, like, really watch what you listen to,
Oh
because
boy.
if you're in a
That is
bad
so
mood,
true.
if you're in a bad mood and you want to go and just kind of ride on some folks, you're not listening to Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
You want to go on the roughest mix that you can find so that
And
it can
that's what I.
feed that energy.
Yeah.
If
That
you
is so true.
yo,
That
yeah,
is so true. I tell all the DJs that I develop, I tell them that. I say you control the
yeah,
audience. If you
that's
play, Step on My Shoes and I'm gonna punch you in the mouth,
yeah.
somebody gets punched in the mouth.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
So you
Wow.
I tell
So
people
who?
that, I tell all the DJs that you gotta watch what you play because you can
Facts.
get the crowd hyped,
So
and
some
Okay.
you have to test it.
It's
musically,
some,
go ahead, Majesty.
some,
Go ahead,
some
Haskell.
something really bothered me the other day, man. I was driving, and it's a common thing, but it really got under my skin the other day, man. And it's not off subject, but it has to do with music and music that you listen to constantly. When you turn on the radio and you hear Drake 5 songs back to back to back on a national station, and then you will hear Roddy Ricch, and then you'll hear somebody else, and then you get out the car, come from the car, go to the store, come back in, you hear the same song. That it really bothered me, man, that they can control the airwaves like that. And
Yeah,
I'm not pocket checking nobody. I know
Right.
I know that bread is amazing, but the fact that they can do that and create a playlist that just plays all day, every day, all it's just so unfair
It
for
is.
the
It is.
industry, for people. Just it steals so much from a young kid sitting in the car going to school and they listening to the same songs over and over and over and over. It is ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
It's
It's
It,
it,
it
man,
it,
basically
it,
I'm
makes
telling
it
you,
basically makes you search
my
for a new route. It's like I'm not about to sit here and listen to this over
man,
and
my
over and over again.
granddaughter,
oh
I told
yeah,
my granddaughter came to me and said, "Papa, what is WAP?" I said, "Wings and pizza."
good answer. Good answer.
I
Because what's
was like,
crazy,
"That's it."
yeah, for me, I remember when satellite radio first started getting popular. I actually transitioned to satellite radio because they had the broader playlist. They played a little bit of everything, but even
Yeah,
that's gotten to the point to now where it's same as commercial radio, where it's the same loop for the same
it's
songs
control.
constantly.
It's honestly, it's a mind controlling
Yep.
thing. Because even like when I do radio, so it's like even the program directors. These are like a lot of people don't understand that. When it comes to radio, that you're pretty much they already have in their minds what they're gonna play. Not even in their mind, they already
right,
have it on the list. Like Drake is gonna play 10 times a day. Uh, Chris Brown is gonna play 10 times a day. Other artists that they put in there, sprinkle in there, and stuff like that. Those come because of the relationships they have with the labels. They don't pay them to play the music because that's called payola. You're not allowed to do that. But what they do
Right.
is that when they have a powerhouse or a big concert, those artists come perform for free.
yeah,
That's how they make their money back.
that's
From
right,
giving them those airwaves.
yep,
And a lot of people don't understand that. That's called a barter system.
that's right.
So when you hear all these other
Wow.
artists, it's like, oh man, I'm trying to get on the radio. I'm trying to get on the radio. And at the same time, it's like you can get on the radio, but you're not just going to just jump on the radio because at the end of the day, these radio waves and these frequencies are there for a reason. And
Right.
it's more so, it's just the way a lot of it's been corrupted. It's just kind of like it's making it harder on people that are really talented.
Yeah. And
You know?
and also it makes like because I like Drake, but it
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
me
no, I hear you.
it makes me not like him. It's because
Yeah,
it's like
no, but
bro,
haven't you heard? This is how you know it controls you. Haven't you guys heard a song like, "Oh my God, that is garbage," and then about 3 days later, you like, You know the song now.
Yep.
Exactly.
Singing it word for word. Do you think it's possible to have a state, if somebody, an investor, say, let's say for instance, were to put together a radio station, do you think it's possible to kind of take it back to what it once was, to where you do have, again, extensive playlists to where you're giving the new artist as much play as you are those to the Drakes of the world, et cetera? Do you think that's possible today, or is more or less is it just so corrupted to where if you even try to get into that industry, you got to pretty much fall in line?
Well, the thing I think, I think the unfortunate thing is they've trained the listener to want to hear Drake all day now. Like, if you change up your playlist and you playing new music now, the audience probably not even gonna listen. They're gonna be, nah, I want to hear what I've been listening to, because they are robots now. Like real creatives have learned to get out of that. It's the matrix. It's that matrix. It's gonna take a brave soul, somebody with some bread, and somebody with the following and with a vision to really break that cycle. That is like years and years.
That is gonna, Haskel, you hit that one right on the head, because it's like it's again, a lot of these kids, because now you're talking about generation.
Yes.
Generations that you have to now get out of one generation to get a new generation.
Yep.
And the generation that's out now are from 10 up now. So it's like after you got another 10 years that you have to retrain, and you have to get them like next year.
Right.
You know, when they're born, you got to get them when they're born.
Yeah, right.
Train them
That's real.
because it's not gonna matter if that can be like me and Haskel, as well as DJ King Majesty and yourself. That, like, if we say, you know what, we're gonna start a radio show that's just strictly but the talent and blah blah, none of this other this, what's gonna happen is that we won't get the listeners, so we won't get the advertisement dollars.
Yep.
That the radio is like, they're going for listeners, and it's like also now that they're online, they're going on eyeballs.
Yep.
That's what a lot of people don't understand, is that if you don't have them impressions, you don't have a value.
You don't have a value.
You don't have a value. So it's like, how do you get impressions? Now you got so many kids that are doing just stupid things to get those impressions, which is those stupid things becoming normalizing. Now it's like normal for kids to go, you're jumping off roofs and onto tables or whatever. Wow. To get those likes or those visuals or whatever. And it's like they don't really understand it. And it's not even that they because they know right from wrong. But at the same time, you got, what is his name? Mike, he's out of the ATL, the comedian.
Which one?
Mike, what was his name? Is it Funny Mike? Funny Mike. For instance, Funny Mike he's a comedian, but he has a group of kids called the Bad Kids crew. Those kids, each one of those kids are at 100,000 or more friends online. And this is because they do bad stuff. And that's, so when you got adults condoning that,
right,
then it's like, how are we gonna break that cycle of what's going on, especially when it comes to not only the internet, but when it comes to radio, to back it up with radio, because now they're listening to the music that they're listening to, that, with all the cussing and everything else in it. It's like, what? It's only a song.
Right.
Yeah, but you're jumping into what this song is doing. You're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not. Don't expect it to change anytime soon. Just know that when it comes to radio has always been powerful. And for artists out there, artists definitely need to see how they can deal with the people in radio. I mean, I'm in FM radio now, and its syndicated station is through iHeart as well, and it's through the big boy, and he's on the reel and stuff like that. But at the same time, I give those people those opportunities to get on the radio and kind of hear themselves on syndicated radio. But as long as they're doing what they're supposed to do and promoting themselves, that's the main thing. If you don't promote yourself, if you think this is going to come just because you're rich, you got nothing coming.
You got
all the money in the world. You buy your spot.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to put in the work, regardless of what's going on. You have to put in the work for yourself. You know, you have to want it more than the person that you're actually going to for the help. You have to want it more than that for yourself. Yeah, right. You know, and a lot of people just don't get that for whatever reason. They just don't.
Because it's too easy. It's too easy. It's like nowadays you can be hot in an hour and you can be cold in 30 minutes.
That's
and it's that fast. And it didn't even take time to get there. You know, so when they see other people coming up in the industry that fast and don't understand the work ethic or don't even understand how, because they'll come. Haskel has it all the time. He's probably I say he's in the top 10 of the best studios in LA. You know, I'm sure he has people show up in brand new Jordans, gold chains on, fur coats, talking about, can I get a hookup? Can I get a hookup?
See? Right.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Now, being that you guys are so, you guys are experts in art.
Mike, if somebody pull up in there with a fur coat, bro, come on, man. I'm calling you.
Well, they definitely came in there with some brand new Jordans and brand new outfits and asked you for a hookup on some studio time.
Nice.
Yeah,
well,
disrespectful.
I know there's a bunch of artists that tap in and want to hear what you guys have to say, being that you guys are experts in artist development and whatnot.
We're here.
So I'm just for the new artists that may be watching, the up and coming artists, what does it matter with location, where they're at? What would you say a new artist needs to do to get where they want to get to?
You want to? I'll go. Want me to go first, Haskel?
Yeah, you go first. And
okay.
I'm in.
Okay, so I think first thing an artist should always do is know who that artist is know what your lane is. Especially if you're a singer, then you definitely should know your tone and if this is, because a lot of people just think just because you can hold a note you can sing. You know, so I'd say first thing that they have to do is understand they have to Google their name and understand who they are as an artist. Google your name. Make sure you're not advertising anybody else's name. 2, you should find yourself who you are as an artist. 3, you're definitely going to have a budget, some type of a budget, because it's just not going to happen overnight for you, and it's not going to be all free and glamour, and the glitz and the glory is not going to happen for you just like that. So that would be what I say. Just find who you are as an artist. Make sure you Google your name. If you're going to do records, once you do a record, make sure you understand what an ISRC is, which is an International Standard Recording Code. Understand that needs to be in every song that you do. I'm not an artist. I'm not trying to be an artist. Like when I need like ISRCs or anything like that done, then I call Haskel or have them call Haskel and talk to him about that. I just know that I can put a show together and make sure that you get trained to make sure that you can be on that show to engage with your audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a part of my development. But Haskel, you go ahead and take it from me.
Yeah, that's real, Big Mike. I would say be teachable. Like if you starting out and you green, you kind of, you new to this, and you come in acting like you know everything, it's a turn off. You're going to miss so much education from seasoned people, even the stuff that I've gone through, and people like Big Mike, to bring people that have information, that have the skill set, that have sustained us in the music industry. You need to come in wide open. Questions, have tons of questions so that you can be teachable. Don't come in with this ego. I think you can use ego and that whole thing, and once you get your thing down and you go to the stage, that's confidence. But don't use it as pride. Use it as a good confidence. So I think start with that. Second thing, learn your craft. Like know it inside and out. I came into this in a day where I had to learn everything about the MPC machine inside and out. I had to know what every button did, how fast I can go, how quick I can go to a sound, how to create my own like samples, and even with the equipment with all these buttons, like what button is this? Why did I need to learn that? Because if I'm running a session and an artist comes in and I need to know if they say, yo, let me get this sound, let me go here, let me do that. You got to be boom, boom, boom. It's that fast. If you're fumbling around your stuff, you will not have clients in longevity. And if you're an artist that come in and a pet peeve, Big Mike knows this. You coming in with your lyrics on your phone, I can understand if you wrote it.
Oh my God, he ain't playing that. He ain't
If
playing
you
that.
wrote
He
it
ain't
in the
playing
studio,
that.
that's fine. And if you're young, if you're like, little young kid that okay. But if you're trying to record in my studio and you got the phone out and you got lyrics out and you don't know the song you're about to express, you can leave and come back tomorrow. Because it's a waste of time. It's like, and celebrity artists, they do it all the time, but their schedule is like really tight. They got to write stuff, they got to read it, and they got to keep it going. As a new artist, that is not a good habit that I want you to have. So know your stuff. And lastly, I say, you may not believe in God like I do. I always say, trust God to give you guidance. He will settle you when you are impatient and when you are afraid and when you're scared to go to that next level. He will give you the peace you need. So I say, definitely have a prayer life so that you can get through the terrains of this music industry, because you're going to see some stuff and you're going to hear some stuff that will knock you off of your feet and it will jack you up spiritually. So having a foundation and getting around people that can hold you up in those times, for sure. So I say that.
Amen. Amen.
Huge nuggets. Huge nuggets. For any artist out there trying to get into the industry, thinking about getting into the industry, thinking you're already in the industry, listen to what they just stated. Thinking that you're already in the industry.
Think you already done made it.
Right.
Exactly.
You got about 150,000 yes men on your back.
Yeah, it's just
and
I think
you got 150,000 of them talking about you the next one, but none of them spending 99 cents just to get your single.
Real talk.
Exactly. And one of the key things you guys said a minute ago is to be teachable. That's always been a huge thing, because if you're not willing to listen to those that have done things before you, who are basically, they've been there, done that type of situation, how do you expect to learn? How do you expect to succeed? Right. An analogy I used to always give my son is that if you're about to go through a dark forest and you had two choices: either walk through that dark forest without a map, or let somebody hand you a map to guide you through that dark forest. Which one are you going to take? Right. And it's just a matter of, to me, it's a no-brainer, but I know you guys come across cats all the time that just don't want to listen.
Man,
they know everything.
They can't accept constructive criticism. That's the problem. They do not accept constructive criticism. They've had too many people tell them and encourage them to the fact that they're poisoning them. So when they come in and we tell them, no, you're just not ready yet, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I've been doing this about almost 20 years. So it's okay that you don't think I know what I'm talking about. But it's always going to come back to the Mike Jones. Back then, you didn't want me. You're all alone.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So I tell them like this: just imagine yourself on a motorcycle doing 100 in a tunnel. You look at you focus on the light of the end of the tunnel. The minute somebody step out on the outside of those in the tunnel and say, "Hey, Haskel," and you turn and look, you just took your focus off of what you're trying to get to.
That's right.
Now it's going to take you that much longer. Remember that.
Right. That's right.
Gotcha. So with that, Haskel, what do you have going on now that we all want to know about, that we now gonna be looking forward to, because again, between you and Mike, y'all got about 100 different jobs, man.
we way Jamaican now.
I was just about to say that.
most done. So what do you have going on now, brother?
I got a couple things that I've been working on for a minute, just kind of setting the stage. One of them is I've been doing a lot of movie scoring and TV stuff. So one movie that I'm still in the middle of it, but I'm almost done with it. It's called A Little Hope for Chicago, and it's a movie that is about this brother, man. A lot of the stuff that happens in Chicago, that even happened in Chicago, he was like in the middle of a lot of that stuff. So this movie is about him and his experience. And it was shot very well, man. We just finished shooting and I was able to score the entire film and really get into that mode. Cause I've always wanted to do something special for Chicago. I've been there obviously through the Kanye West Foundation, and I've met a lot of the kids there. But the stuff that is going on there, man, it's disheartening. But people don't realize that man, it's unfortunate to even say this, but that generation of kids, some of them, they have to die off. That because they're in a different mindset, man. Like they do it for the points. It's about, you're not disrespecting my hood, blah, blah, blah. And I watched a lot of documentaries. Here we go again. Over 2 years ago, I was watching a lot of stuff on Chicago. Didn't know why. Every night I would pull up YouTube videos, Chicago, this guy doing this, and who is this? I'm learning names, and then I'm end up scoring a movie that is in the heart of Chicago, A Little Hope for Chicago. Wow. God was preparing me for this. So I'm doing that. So that's being worked on. Another thing I'm doing, that I have a foundation, actually a 501, called Music for Your Mental Health. And so everything, we've been working on this for like 6 years and just launched it this year. And it helps kids from 4 to 18 years of age, and it helps them mentally. I got 2 therapists on the team, and I have a whole team of people, man. So we are really about to go into these programs in schools that are dealing directly with these kids with some issues, and we're helping them navigate their way through with music therapy. So
and that's changing the world right there.
Yeah, man, just, and especially now when a lot of kids are on Zoom and they've been disconnected from their friends, we got to come in and we got to make some headway, with some love, man. So that's what that is for. So that, yeah, artist development every day. I got the Artist Development Center here where they come in and they learn everything from A to Z and how to carry themselves within the music industry. So yeah, those are some things that I'm pretty, really excited about.
And that's so big because there's, so many artists that they need you guys, and they have the talent, but they just don't have the direction. So, I just appreciate what you guys do, being, I was an artist once upon a time. So I appreciate you guys just for doing what you do.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Mike? What you got going on, brother?
Actually, what don't I have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of different stuff going on. With the radio, given the opportunities, I do. It's called Wednesday Night Lives with the radio station. So what I do is I'll go on my Instagram live. I'll have people send in their hottest single that's radio edit. Give them an opportunity to get their song played on a Friday for over 3 million people to listen to. Do that on Wednesdays. I also am in the process of I'm still developing artists. Got a couple artists that I'm still working with, and also I have there's something I've been trying to put together for years, but I've been doing it. I did it like about 3 years ago, but it's called the Youth Explosion, and with that, what happens is that I do a big event, and it's all ran by the youth. So the stage is ran by the youth. The kids bring in like I don't know if they have lemonade or they have different T-shirts or they have different stuff, their own business, teaches them how to become entrepreneurs, and all the parents come out and shop from those students, and as well as it helps them generate their own money and stuff like that. And they get to watch a concert that's produced by the kids and everything else. But I do that. It's called a youth explosion. I'm going to be doing that soon. Now that a lot of stuff is opening up, I'm still developing artists and still continuing. Can't wait to get back to the Venice Beach shows that I used to do. The Venice Beach Street Classic.
Yeah, those fire.
They're getting ready to open back up. So that's a great platform. And again, just teaching these artists, about this music industry. It's not just one word; it's two words. You have to understand that those two words are very important when it comes to both coming together to connect as one. So that's what it is. So and then I'm always open to answering questions. I'm always open for any artist out there that needs questions answered or have some questions. I'm always open to that as well. So just creating these platforms, man.
Excellent. Now, Haskel, I got one for Haskel real quick, and I've been thinking about this. This is the one that we were saying in the beginning that we didn't want to tell you up front, and because something I feel like a somewhat of a connection with from your story, I can relate because I feel like I walked similar path in some ways, and so what is something along your journey? What is a crazy story that you saw, that you heard, that no one knows about? That's just a crazy story in the industry. I know you got one.
Okay. Oh man. Oh God, I don't know if I should say this one.
That's the one. That's
the best way to start it out, man. That's the story we want to hear.
That's the one right there.
When you got to preface it with that, that's the one we want to hear.
Oh man. Golly, the ones that I have, I can't. I don't know if it's safe to say because I got my live one, and
somebody about to get busted.
And I got young people watching it, so
yeah, I know, man.
I don't know if I can answer that. I don't think of a funny one, but yeah, man, I've seen some stuff, bro. You got to have to come back to me.
We gotta think about which one you could tell.
Which one is PG?
Yeah, right.
Hey, y'all getting ready to mess our brands up.
Last week when we asked that question, we heard Gucci Mane broke out the crazy house and was in the studio. So that's what we got last week. So we said we gotta keep that question going. How about you, BMikeRob? What's a crazy story?
I can tell you a story, but I can't tell you who.
Okay.
I can do that. I can do that.
So I was working with this artist. He's famous, right? And we on the tour bus. We get off the tour bus, and he's a little younger, so he's like, he's seeing we're in the summertime, so we see some girls over at the pool, and we're going in the hotel. The girls at the pool, they got a little party going on. He like, I'm going upstairs, put on my bathing suit. I'm coming back to the pool.
Oh, this is about to be funny already.
Man, so we go upstairs, and he puts his bathing suit on. He comes back down. He's like, meet me in the lobby because I'll be down there. I said, all right, I'm coming down there. He goes, he's at the pool, and he's talking to a girl standing there, and I'm kind of like sitting back. He's talking to a girl, and he like, yeah, it's popping out here. It's popping out here, Mike. It's popping out. I said, yeah, it's cool. But he don't know that I already know something. So I tell the girl, push him in the pool.
Oh, man.
Right? So she walks over and she acts like stumbles and falls and pushes him in the pool. Man, if I tell you who this is, he start crying because I knew he couldn't swim. But he wanted to hang out with his bathing suit.
Right.
And well get wet. And he falls in the pool, and the pool is only 4 foot. He like 5'6", so he out the water, but he drowning. In his mind, he's drowning. And we get him out the pool, and he crying. He said, "Man, forget all this, man. I'm good. I'm going upstairs."
Too funny.
I cracked up.
Too
I can't
funny.
tell y'all who that is. Y'all
Can you tell it? Can you give us a hint? Where's he from? How about that?
Don't do it, Mike.
He's out of ATL.
Oh, wow.
I know who it is.
You already know, Haskel.
You said you about 5'6", 5'7".
I don't know. I forgot.
Light skin, dark skin, bald head. What's up?
I don't know.
Right. So we get 2 or 3 more clues, we gonna know who it is.
Exactly. I'm trying. East Point, College Park.
He had ATL. He was a big artist out of
Okay.
ATL.
Rapper or singer?
He had one of the biggest songs in the world. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Say it too much.
All right, you're back in your court there, Haskel.
I'm about to Google who can swim in ATL.
All right, I'll tell you one. So, y'all, you would never guess it. There's no way you would guess this. And this artist is huge. I mean, I'm not, very, very big artist. So I'm over there, and I mean, when I work with huge artists like that, I don't really typically tell nobody I'm working with them. So we and my boy, we at this artist at their house, and we're working on a project, and everything is going well. So we created a track for them. They started writing to it. We started vibing, and it was amazing. So then we finished that part. They said, and I'm not gonna say if it's a he or she. I'm trying to use they. Don't try it. Don't try it.
I'm waiting for you to slip, man. I'm waiting for you to slip.
They said, I gotta make a stop somewhere, and I want you guys to meet somebody. Oh, okay, cool. So we went over that person's house, set up the studio there, like keyboard or whatever. So we go over there and we're working. So that person, very hospitable, gave us whatever we needed, food, whatever, water. And so after about 2 hours, the person we went with disappeared for maybe 15 minutes. And apparently they're supposed to go to the bathroom. They was going to the bathroom. So they went to the bathroom and they didn't come out for a minute, and then they come out. So when they came out the bathroom, they were like, all right, I'm ready to go. So then we're like, oh, wow, well, we're almost done with this idea. Let's just finish it. And they're like, no, let's go right now.
Uh-oh.
And we're like, all right. So we start packing up the gear. The owner of the house goes in the bathroom, and all we hear is, what the
Oh,
He went there and blew it up. Wow.
What? Like, went off, right? So we're like, oh, what is going on? Runs out of the bathroom, came in that artist's face, and started accusing them of stealing her pills.
Oh, wow.
Pills, some prescription drugs. So then she going off like, oh, I know you did. Let me check your purse. And we're up there like, oh, snap. Like, this is, if you knew what it was, you'd be like, what? Bro, we sat back and watched the show. It went down.
Wow.
Yeah, they stole some prescription from them, and it just all hell broke loose, bro. So we got up, took our stuff, and we left. But
Damn.
it was like, wow, you doing it like that? It was weird. It was the weirdest session I had ever been to. And
so who was it?
Yeah.
That's juicy right there.
I tell you what, here's the caveat. If you go to a session at a house, somebody go to the studio, if somebody go to the bathroom for more than 15 minutes, just leave.
That's
That's my advice to you.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That is wild. Man.
When
I
they
will
came out
say,
the bathroom, were their eyes more red when they came out the bathroom?
They was shaking. They were like on some other stuff. It
wow.
was
Yeah,
it
crazy.
was weird, bro. And it was just like they were in a panic, just
Damn.
bro, like wow.
I thought that was going somewhere else for a minute.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear my stories, bro. That's why I'm like, I
Yeah.
got stories.
Wow.
Hey, what do you
That's
guys think
crazy.
about? What do you guys think about that new Instagram? How they can put out 4 people can come online now.
That's dope.
Seen that? It's dope.
I haven't used it yet,
about
but that's dope though.
Yeah. This Wednesday, Haskel, we using that.
Oh, this Wednesday?
Yeah.
I gotta come
I'm
on.
gonna put a couple of you guys on.
Yeah, that'll be
It's
fine.
dope.
I'm gonna be
You
checking
can
you
rate
guys
music,
out, too.
rate music that way.
Wow.
That's
Most
nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I know Facebook is still only, I think, 2 people you can bring on live as well. When you do the message.
Well, Facebook owns Instagram, so
Yeah, it should be coming there soon. But I think with the social media and the different music platforms, there's so many different ways to put yourself out there. You know, you just have to have the right team behind you, the right strategy behind you, and to get out there. But
that you say that now you say that. What do you think is like? Because I mean, people can say you just have to have the right team. We really don't know what the right team. Even like when it comes to, I want to ask Haskel this question as well as DJ King Majesty, because you guys spin a lot of music as well as Haskel, you create a lot of music. But what is a hit? I mean, because I know that is exactly.
That's a hit.
Whatever
Right
money
there.
you putting behind it makes it a hit nowadays.
Yes. That's the
sad.
smack. I mean, because if you got money, you got marketing. If you got marketing, you got eyeballs. If you got eyeballs, you got streams. And if you got streams, you got notability, like notoriety. So that's how it works. And if you have a fire smash, if you have a really, really good song, it just triples and quadruples.
Yeah, of course.
wow.
Yeah. And
that's where a lot of people don't understand that part, because they'll tell you, oh man, I got a hit. But what kind of budget do you have? Because you can have a dope song, but if you don't have those eyeballs or those ears for it to get to it, or you don't have those hookups or those plugs that we call them nowadays, it's really not going to get out there.
It's not going to get out there.
It's not. You're going to be just like a dope
said
basketball player that never got the chance to go get seen or been to any camp.
Imagine.
I think it goes back to what you said earlier with.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
With,
Go ahead.
When you said earlier how there could be a song that you don't really care for, but it's being played so much. Next week you halfway like it, and next month that's your jam.
It's a hit.
You know?
A lot of these kids nowadays, they're like, oh man, it's the craziest part about it is that they hear all these songs that are out, and there's so many samples that are out now, because people they haven't really been, a lot of I call them beat makers, because they're not producers.
Right.
They're beat makers. They sample somebody else's stuff, and a lot of the kids are like, wow, that's a hit. That's dope. That song is dope. And it's like, that song is this song. So I do it for my granddaughter sometimes. She'll play a song, and she'll be like, oh, Papa, do you know this song? And I'll be like, yeah, let me show you. And I'll play the original song. She'll be like, that sounds just like, and I say, because this is where it came from. When you were in your mother's belly, you were hearing these kind of sounds. So when you hear these sounds again, you look at it as familiar to you, so it's like a hit.
Yeah.
Remember that Chris Brown song? I want to say about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. He sampled the Shanice's "Smile" from back in the early '90s. My son thought that song was brand new. I'm like, dude, that song came out.
Now, what differentiates a beat maker from a producer?
Now I can go into it, but Haskell knows better than me. All I know is that a producer, a real producer, when he creates a song, he knows exactly who he's creating the song for. He knows what voice he wants on that song. He knows what sound he wants, and he lets a person be creative that has that voice. Like for instance, Beyonce. A lot of the songs are already created. She comes in and put her flavor on them. She buys it out, and it becomes her own song that she created because they already got paid out. So I'm going to let Haskell kind of, tailgate on that just so people understand.
Yeah. So, simple and plain, a beat maker, somebody that has a piece of equipment or an app or something they can make music on, right? They push buttons, they create a sound, they bounce it down, boom, that's a beat maker. All right. And you can make a beat by just hitting on the table, recording it and putting it. So that's a beat maker. A producer is anything that needs life to it. So if somebody comes into the studio for me and they have an idea in their head, I am responsible to bring life to that. It's just like when you have a baby, you're producing that baby. That woman is producing that baby. And there are things that woman has to do in order to get that baby to life. They got to push, they got to midwife, they got to breathe right, and then they got to nurture once that baby's alive. So it's the same thing as a producer. You get an idea, you turn it into reality, you put all the good fixings around it, and then you position it so that you can sell it. And then, and so whether it's financially you position it, um, the way it sounds sonically, you're doing it. You're bringing the right people in if you need to. You have relationships with the right musicians, singers, and you also are responsible over the facility that is being done at. So there's a lot of different hats that you have to wear. People use producing so lightly, and producing, if you think of produce, when you put a seed in the ground, you got to water that seed. You got to make sure that in the right season it grows so that it can go out and be purchased by, human beings.
Which is a cultivator.
Yeah, you got to water that seed. So a producer, and I literally got shot down real quick by my boy DOA in Sacramento. I was young. I was like 21, 22 years old, and I had a tape full of these beats. And that's when cassettes was out. I used to make my own little mixtapes of just my beats that I made on my keyboard. I had a W30, a Roland W30. So I call myself.
I had one of those.
You had a W30? Yeah. With the little floppy disk. So I sent my tape to him in Sacramento, and I knew when I sent it, I was like, he about to go crazy. I'm that guy. He missing out. And he's the MD for New Edition, Bobby Brown, Janet Jackson. He's traveling all over the world. And I call myself sending him these little loops. And he said, bruh, your stuff is cool. And I was like, cool. He's like, I think you got a little idea, a little vision, not bad, Haskel, but you're not a producer. Dude, my feelings was hurt. I was like, what? He said, you're not a producer. You're not a producer until you own this, until you could do this. And he listed like 5 or 6 things that I didn't have. And I was like, wait, you say you're a beat maker. Repeat after me. You're a beat maker. I'm not repeating after you, bro. He said, repeat, I am a beat maker.
Wow.
It shattered me. But it taught me from that day going forward what a producer really was. And you got to.
I learned that from Dr. Dre and Battle Cat. And just Dr. Dre, he has like a compound that he has about 8 different rooms that is in the back of his house. And he has a bed in there. Each room has a bed, an MPC, a keyboard, and you can bring your own laptop. And you can live at his house. You live at his house. You make beats all day long. He takes that beat and he'll sell it for $100,000 right in front of you, and he's the owner of that beat.
Wow.
Scott Storch, Timberland, they all came out of that compound.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah,
man, that's profound.
that's the
So,
difference.
but with that said, though, do you think that there's a space for a beat maker and a producer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what. Yeah,
there's a
definitely. I say a beat maker is a. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, I was just saying like there's space for it, but don't wear a hat that you shouldn't have
That
on.
you don't. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's
Right.
the main thing.
Yeah, don't wear a hat and don't go around saying I'm a producer, this, that, and the other. No. It's not to be ashamed that you're a beat maker. I think that's a talent in itself
Right.
that takes work. It's easier now to be a maker because you got apps like FL Studio. Well, all you got to do is drag and drop.
Yeah.
You drag a loop in, you drag a little synthesizer in, grab some keys in, put it in the right key, and you got a whole beat.
Yeah, it'll even put you in the right key nowadays.
Yeah, like you made it.
Yeah.
They call themselves producers because they do that, and
Right.
it just blows me away. But yeah, there's room for it.
I
I
mean,
got you.
that's what it is today. I mean, it is about. I mean, it's working for some of the people and it's making it a lot faster. But at the end of the day, like even like when it comes to the Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson was a full on producer. He played 80% of the instruments with his mouth.
Exactly.
Because he knew exactly what sound he wanted. You know what I mean? And his craft was his keys. And like
Yep.
even like dealing with Haskell, it even opened my eyes to the fact of a producer. Haskell have nights like open band nights that he'll have just people that come in and play instruments, and then they'll just have just it's crazy. It's just the night that they'll have, and
Yeah.
it's like that's real production.
So it sounds like a producer has a lot more clarity with the arrangements and whatnot versus just some sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a musicianship involved into it.
You got to be like a person that life as well. Like a producer shouldn't have to do everything. I had to learn that the hard way because I knew that as a producer, if I can play piano, I'm making that piano money. If I can play the PC machine, I'm making that engineer money. If I can engineer, I'm making that money. If I can mix,
right.
I'm making that money. If I vocal produce, I'm making that money. So I used to take the whole budget and do everything. And then
you can do it.
Wait, it got to a point where it got so busy for me, I had to delegate and I had to oversee and I had to know how to get the core prepared and then add pieces to that gumbo. You gotta have sense and wisdom to know, what is needed in this gumbo. And you gotta know what musician, if you have 5 guitar players, you gotta know which guitar player is going to be best on this particular song.
Exactly.
You can't put every guitar player on just any song. It takes, because it's going to make your session like harder. So that's a producer to me, somebody that knows the intricacies of that song and what's going to really bring it to life and bring magic to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I definitely see why you guys are expert in artist development. You guys are taking us to school today.
Exactly. All this knowledge.
Hey, I've always kept my ears open. No matter what, I've always been, when it comes to constructive criticism, it's like, hey, that's what I'm all about.
I've been an artist for years, and I'm just learning so much right now. I'm over here just I'm actually taking notes as you guys are talking.
That's good. I mean, any questions you have, please feel free to ask, and I'll give you the best answer that I know. I don't claim to know everything, but I know what's worked for me.
Hey, we about to be best friends. I'm gonna be in that DM like,
hey. Excellent. But with that, we have come to the end of the show today, gents. And I must say, this has been probably one of the most educational shows that we have had, especially on the music piece, entertainment piece. You guys are just a wealth of knowledge. And with that, I'm hoping that that those that view this definitely gain from it. I'm sure they will. You can't help but gain from the knowledge you guys dropped on this show today. That's facts. But again, we thank you guys tremendously, for coming on to the show. We look forward to having you on again at some time in the future. Again, we thank you. We can't thank you enough because again, when we have guests on the show, we invite folks that we feel they're going to bring something to the table. But what you guys brought to the table today was just phenomenal.
Everything.
We wanted a better story from you, Haskel, but it's all good though, bro. We'll get that next time. We'll get that next time. But it's all good.
Stay out them bathrooms.
But it's all good. But as always, again, I can't thank you guys enough. We look forward to having you guys on again. We'll be hitting you guys up here in the not too distant future. And everybody be safe. Everybody continue. Again, I always try to put this message out there because we're still in the middle of a pandemic. It's not over yet. So please continue to wear your mask. Even in the states where they're lifting the restrictions, continue to wear your mask. People are still getting sick. People are still dying. Not everyone has the vaccine. You get the vaccine on your own recognizance, as far as make your own decision on that piece. I have my own thoughts on it, but we won't go into that right now. But, just be safe because, again, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. And everybody just look out for your families and just be safe out there. Can't say that enough. But
appreciate that.
Yes, sir. But with that, on behalf of myself, E. Shakir, Mr. DJ King Majesty, the Life of the People Show podcast, we thank you guys. We love you guys. You guys be safe, and thank you guys for coming out.
Appreciate you, man.
Bless.
Definitely appreciate you, man. Hey, follow me at BMikeRob, BMikeRob.
Yes, sir. Mr. Haskel Jackson, how can folks get in contact with you, sir?
Yeah, at Genesoul, at Genesoul, Genesoul, or you can visit my website, HaskelJackson.com.
Excellent. We thank you guys.
Amen.
You guys be safe. Much love.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Bless.
Yes, sir.